Welcome to the Steiner Sports signing room. In this room, we'll see over 2,000 athletes come through signing autographs from anywhere from a couple hundred limited edition pieces to a couple thousand pieces, depending on their popularity and the project we're working on. We'll sign almost 1 million autographs this year at Steiner Sports, and this room is plenty busy. It may see Joe Girardi at 11 o'clock at night and Mariano Rivera sometimes at 6:30 or 7 in the morning. It's a 24/7 type of proposition in here because of the amount of volume, and also these athletes are pretty busy and their schedules are a little crazy. Early in the day, we had Brett Gardner stop by here to sign some autographs, and we caught up with him then. Brett Gardner, World Series champion. How does that feel?
Feels good. Sounds good. Feels good. The season obviously went the way we hoped it would go, and perfect ending.
It's a long way. I mean, you think about, you spent a lot of time in the minor leagues, and I know I asked you this question the first day that I had seen you, which was, did you do everything to really make sure that you were ready? Do you think you were prepared for this run you just had?
Yeah, definitely. I definitely feel like I was ready. I mean, you can't argue the fact that, if I was in the minor leagues and got 500 or 1,000 more at bats, maybe physically would have been a little more prepared. Maybe so, but I think definitely, mentally and emotionally, I was ready for the New York scene and ready for what we had to go through. And, the Yankees, they really do a good job of making sure their young guys that are prepared for that.
You had a lot of energy to that lineup, speed, the inside the park home run. What's a moment that stands out for you, so far in your career? Besides the actual winning of the World Series, was there a defining moment for you where you said, wow, I belong here?
Maybe spring training. Spring training, just going out and doing well, winning the job. Being the opening day center fielder and being there, opening day against the Indians, I think it was April 16th this year, standing out in center field, thinking about how awesome it was to be out there behind all those guys and be on the same field with all those guys. It was a lot of fun.
A lot of history with Yankees center fielders. And talking about history, was there a player you was an idol for you growing up, or somebody you looked up to that you want to kind of model your game after?
I was always a fan of Pete Rose, just the way he played the game, the way, the things he did on the field, obviously, and, just how hard he went after it every play. And, as far as Yankees, probably Mickey Mantle.
Now, were you a collector?
Starting
swapping jerseys, asking some autographs, or
starting to do a little bit of that. Try and hang on to some things that mean something to me. Things like that, and trying to get some guys to sign balls and bats and things like that to, not just for me, but maybe for my son when he gets a little bit older, so that he can appreciate it.
Now, is there one particular item that you would see in your sports room at home? Is there one particular item that you're real proud of?
I think one of the coolest things I have is a game used ball from the final game at the stadium last year. The whole team signed it. That's pretty. It's a pretty cool piece to have in your collector's room, and something that'll mean a lot to me for as long as I live.
Now, who are some of your favorite? Who are the players that have had a big impact on you in that clubhouse? You got so many, just solid, real serious players. When you talk about Alex Rodriguez and Derek Jeter, and who are the players that have an impact on you in a year like this?
Really all of them. All the older guys and the guys that have been around for a while, they do a good job of taking the younger guys under their wing and not only teaching them what to do on the field, but off the field as well, teaching us how to act and be professionals and represent the Yankee organization. So, I don't want to single out one guy in particular, but, Alex and Derek are great. Andy and Mariano and Georgie and, Johnny, obviously spend a lot of time with him because he's an outfielder. So, all those guys really do a good job.
Now, is there like this kind of outfielders clique going on with you, Milky, Swish, Damon? I've heard, is that like that little club you guys hang out a little bit off the field?
Well, off the field, obviously, we, sometimes go our separate ways because of families and things like that. But, when we're on the road, we spend some time together. And obviously in spring training and during the season, we're on the field a lot together, taking fly balls in the outfield, shagging, sometimes in the same group during batting practice. So, yeah, we all get along great and we have a lot of fun.
What's important to you besides baseball off the field? What are the things that really, strike a chord with you?
Family. Obviously my wife and my son. He just turned 1-year-old last week. 5 or 6 days ago. So, when you get home and you see your little 1-year-old smiling at you and saying "Dad, Dad" and pointing at you, nothing else really seems to matter. That's really something that I take a lot of pride in, taking care of them and making sure they're okay.
How about charity-wise? As far as helping others, I know you do some charity work. What are those important? What are those causes?
Pretty much anything. I think one thing that, is pretty dear to my heart is just helping out kids. During the season I work with Project Sunshine, and it's It's an organization that basically goes around to hospitals, and it is what it says it is, Project Sunshine. It just brings a smile to kids' faces, maybe kids that are sick or haven't been feeling well or need surgery or waiting on a transplant, anything, and kind of lifts them up a little bit and puts them in a good place.
Does it surprise you, and you're right in the middle of the offseason, you just won a championship, surprise you that you're a world champion and you played for New York Yankees, when you just kind of sit back and think about it all, what goes through your mind?
A lot of excitement, obviously. I was talking to somebody yesterday that I actually roomed with in college my freshman year, and he said, would you have thought 8 years, back in 2001, would you have thought 8 years down the road that you'd be playing for the Yankees and winning the World Series? And I said, absolutely not. Obviously, as a kid and as a youngster growing up, you have hopes and dreams, and you have visions of where you want to be and things you want to accomplish. But being in New York, winning the World Series the 1st of November at the new stadium, it doesn't get any better than that.
How's New York treating you? You enjoying New York City? Do you enjoy New York City life?
Great. I love it. As a kid coming from a small town in South Carolina of about 2,000 people, it's pretty different. But, I've had a blast here. Everybody's treated me and my family great, and, I love it.
What's your most fun experience in New York City?
Parade.
So you're in the middle of your off season now. You just won a World Series. Are you on, which side of it are you on? Are you on the, wow, I can't believe I just won a World Series, or are you already thinking about next season?
Thinking about next season. Once you get home and see your family and take a couple weeks to look back over what just happened, you start thinking about the future and next year, and before we know it, we'll be down in Tampa getting ready for hopefully bringing home number 28.